Yeah, does go. Yes. Doesn't it? Oh, Lester and I just like into Thursday. We have like a month break, which is like I'm so excited. Can't wait. Daniel's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. And that day, he's like, are you gonna make dinner? No.
With the regular meeting of the Edgecombe County Board of Education, April 24th, 2023, please come to order. The public may view the board meeting via the link given. Please join me, if you will, as we stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a seat. I welcome each of you to the regular board meeting of April 24th, 2023. I'd be remiss at this point if I did not welcome for the first time officially the District Director of Transition and Redesign, Mr. Ronnie Shaw. Ronnie, if you'll stand, please, and welcome. Item number 2.1, Employee of the Month.
Board Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Bridges. I'm excited to introduce to you our Employee of the Month for April. So Monica Smith is the multi-classroom leader at Stocks Elementary School. According to principal hearing, Ms. Smith is a fearless leader who is truly relentless in her pursuit of excellence for students. She offers consistent instructional guidance and support for 5 teachers. As a member of the school's instructional leadership team, she is a problem solver and an innovative thinker who thinks critically of ways to redesign educational spaces in the best interests of students. Her enthusiasm in the building is felt daily, and she extends her reach to other teachers in the district, sharing lesson plans that she has created for 4th and 5th grade science and STEM. She always leads with integrity and joy, and we congratulate her on being selected as the ECPS Employee of the Month. Congratulations, Ms. Smith. Also, I'll be presenting a gift card on behalf of Greg Sessom, State Farm Insurance Agent.
Item 3, public comments. I do hold a sheet and no one has signed up. So we move now to the approval of the agenda. You have received the agenda, had an opportunity to read it, go over it. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to be made to that agenda? Hearing none, do we hear a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair. Second.
It has been motion and second for the approval of the printed agenda. You've heard that motion. Second, any corrections or any unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. The agenda has been approved. Item number 5, the approval of the open session minutes for March 13, 2023 at the business meeting. You have had an opportunity to view those minutes. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes as printed? Hearing none, do we hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve our March 13th, 2023 regular business open session minutes.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the open session minutes of March 13, 2023. You've heard that motion. Second, any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Item number 6.1, school updates. Dr. B.
Thank you. So you all have a one-page sheet on the updates. I'll start at the top. So we're really excited about the education and health sciences. We've started interviewing prospective students. And on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. at Parker Middle School, we'll meet with families that live in Edgecombe but attend Nash County Public Schools. And then the first week of May, there will be visits to the Nash County schools, and we'll invite them to apply. So again, really excited. A little slower process than what we first thought we'd have. We were hoping to have things wrapped up by spring break. That's okay. We're working process and making sure that all of our students and future students have access. So again, rising ninth graders, rising 10th graders. Those are the two groups of students that we are trying to recruit for.
Is there a need to stress over the numbers? Are we getting there?
We're getting there. I don't think we need to stress yet. I'll tell you when to start stressing.
Okay. Thank you. If you don't stress, we won't stress. Right, board? Good.
So tomorrow evening, we'll have our joint meeting with the county commissioners, as we always do. We do share the state of the schools. We'll share some curriculum and instruction, innovation, highlights from each region of our schools, the demerger, maintenance, human resources, and finance. And so when we're sharing, of course, we have a one-pager that will be the budget request. That request will look larger than it typically does because we're going to include the supplement for teachers. We'll include the master teacher pay, and we'll include the difference between what currently is paid to Edgecombe and what's paid to Nash students. Now, we know we may not receive all of that, but we will make the ask, and we'll explain that information as we go along. Okay. And then third, you'll see college recruitment fairs. So again, another area we're excited about. So several staff members, HR staff members, principals, and district office staff members have gone out to visit numerous college fairs. This has been the first time we've been able to do this since the pandemic. We know teacher preparation programs enrollment is low. But we've met like some really wonderful students. We've gone to East Carolina, we've gone to Campbell University, we've gone to Elizabeth State University. And in the coming weeks, we will visit some additional schools and continue to recruit. Okay. And last on your one page is summer programming. So our CISS team has been busy creating some summer programming plans. You see those listed and the dates. We have remediation offered at all schools. Career Accelerator, both at middle and high schools, Read to Achieve, which is elementary, and then Title I, the kindergarten transition plans. Again, you see the dates there, and all of our maintenance and principals are aware of these dates. So if there's work that has to happen in a particular school, they know what's going on there before they start their work for the summer. Any questions or feedback?
Comment? All right. Dr. B. All right, 6.2, school improvement, Dr. Myrick.
So Dr. Myrick is out today due to not feeling well, so we'll ask our school principals if they will, not sure who is first. You got them, Joseph? Thank you. So they'll come forward, they will share as they have the other previous months. They'll take about 7 minutes to share their information, and we'll just go one right behind the other. If you have questions at the end of their presentation, don't hesitate to ask.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Bridges, and guests. My name is Kristen Miller, and I'm principal of GW Carver, and I'm excited to highlight a few of the awesome things going on at Carver this year. Hustle and heart will set you apart. That is our theme for this school year. And this just shows you who Carver is and what we do. Our Eagles soar high every day because we have hustle. We make the most of every single minute. And most importantly, we have the heart. We always put kids first. Taking a look at our third grade data from last school year, note the last column. The areas in green show our gains. Here you'll see our college and career ready for third grade was the only area without growth. Our biggest celebration here is our overall grade level proficiency of 81.3% proficient. This was a 27.3 point increase from the previous year. Yes, wow. Taking a look at our fourth grade data, you will note the gains in the last column again. In both reading and math, all areas showed growth, and all but one area grew by double digits. Finally, take a look at our fifth grade data, in which all areas made solid growth, almost closing that gap from our pre-pandemic scores. Overall, Carver grew in proficiency in every area, and they're making gains to get us back to our pre-pandemic scores. So, using this data and several other data points, our school improvement team met this summer and strategically planned our priorities. These are the areas this year that we're focusing on. If it doesn't fit in one of these buckets, we're not doing it. Okay? So here, deeper learning, community partnerships, instructional support, and social emotional learning. After we identified these 4 areas, we worked on creating targeted school improvement goals. These are listed here, where we are working to meet and exceed expectations for growth, increase our grade level proficiency in all tested subjects, increasing the overall percentage of college and career readiness in all subjects, meeting or exceeding growth in every identified subgroup, increasing our school engagement measure, and also increasing our emotion regulation. You'll note that all of these goals all fit in one of those 4 buckets. The first strategy that I'll highlight for you today involves deeper learning. Noting that college and career area, that was the only area we didn't grow in, we're focusing on deeper learning this year. First, we had to create that deeper learning team, and that team had to be committed to learning about deeper learning experiences and be willing to lead our staff through this deeper learning journey. This team created and facilitated professional development sessions. They also helped staff in these sessions create project-based learning experiences in all grades K through 5. And what we focused on in these experiences is making sure we had a meaningful purpose, a targeted and authentic audience, and we created a relevant product. Here are some of these that have taken place already this year. You'll note our 5th graders on the left presenting their emergency weather kits and sharing this information with our 4th grade students. And on the right, you'll see our 2nd grade scientists observing the life cycle of a butterfly. You can see that the kids are taking ownership of their learning, and they are really taking ownership and getting excited and staying engaged in reading and researching. A plug, May 9th at 6 p.m. we'll be hosting our STEM night and our PBL night, and students will be presenting these projects. The other priority I will share with you about tonight is community partnerships. These partnerships have really focused around Down East Partnership and a few other community volunteers who've been really instrumental in providing support and resources for our 2nd graders to work in the Pine Tops Community Garden. These sessions focused on literacy, healthy meal planning, providing taste tests, exercises, and hands-on work in our community garden where they're actually planting and caring for various vegetables. This experience is one that many of our students would not have without this partnership. Another area that we focused on in creating those strategic partnerships within the community is our Success Mentor program. This program, we've identified 13 students who are in grades 3rd through 5th grade who are chronically absent based on the data from the previous year. We held a kickoff in November, and students were able to meet various community members. They ranged in several areas: Pinetops Police Department, Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office, local pastors, and other volunteers. These folks were able to meet, get to know each other, and then students were actually able to kind of rate the person. So we wanted these relationships to be meaningful and for students to feel connected with somebody. These mentors have been meeting face-to-face twice a month. They've been providing a written correspondence to students to encourage them to be at school and involved in their education. And they also make that contact to a parent at home to bridge that gap. Like, what can we do? We care about your student and we want them here. Taking a look at the data, all students have shown a decrease in their absences this year, and 4 of those students have had a significant increase of 20 days or more. So, as you can see, Hustle and Heart is what Carver is. It's who we are. We focused this year on providing students with those deeper learning experiences and just forming connections to their own community. I'll be glad to answer any questions at this time.
Questions, comments?
You want to know the time for the STEM?
May 9th, it'll be 6 p.m.
Hearing none, thank you, Mrs. Miller, and thank the,
I would like to
yes, please, let me finish this, and thank the Carver staff, if you will, and then we'll go to Dr. Wilson.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I did not hear a lot about parental involvement with the community, people as it related to better attendance. How did you deal with the parents? Were they involved a lot? Because see, attendance in school starts at home. So I'm just wondering if
It does.
parents were involved.
Sure. So our success mentors did a really great job of motivating students. And when you motivate a student, they're going to go home and motivate their parents. But we have a process in place at Carver. We have an attendance committee that meets regularly to look at the data, and we have a protocol. After a certain number of days, our counselor reaches out. After that, a social worker, an administrator. We use our SROs. So parents are involved and communicated with regularly according to attendance.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments, questions? Again, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Superintendent Dr. Bridges, board members, and guests. I'm Kelly Ann Mudd. I'm the principal at Martin William Academy, and I'm excited to share a little bit about our school improvement spotlight tonight. So we'll jump right in. And so our school improvement team got together back in August, and they lovingly called themselves the Blazing Force, being trailblazers. And we said this year we really wanted to set both a long-term goal and short-term goals to know really what are we working towards each and every year. So we have a 5-year goal to increase our total proficiency by 35% in reading, math, and science. And that breaks down to a minimum, and these are our minimum goals, break down to a minimum of a 7% increase each school year. And so you'll see those numbers there. We know that this is The 1-year goal is not our end goal, nor is the 5-year goal our end goal, but we're taking it in those increments. And so you'll see those areas that we're looking to improve in. And then we know that proficiency is one piece of the puzzle, but that growth is another piece of the puzzle, and that we cannot see improvement in proficiency rates if we're not growing children. And so our goal every year, regardless of whether it's year 1 or year 5, is that we are exceeding growth in overall and also in each of our subgroup areas. We believe that if we're exceeding, we're going to move past that 7% increase each year. We're going to exceed 35% in 5 years, and we'll be ready to set a new set of goals when we get to the end of 2027. And so we talk a lot about MMA. What do we have in our toolkit? And we've spent this year talking a lot about what are we adding to our toolkit. But we've also talked a little bit about, sometimes it's the right time to spring clean and purge your toolkit a little bit. Are there tools that are no longer working for us? And so the first quarter, we really looked at what are our new resources, and some of those you'll see are our district resources. So for our middle school curriculum, McGraw-Hill was new this year, both in Reveal Math and Study Sync, so we were adding to. But we also took a little bit of an audit. What now can we take away that is a tool that might not be our best fit? We looked at our instructional strategies. Our focus was really digging into small group instruction and having personalized learning in every core instructional block. We've set the time of the block and the pace of the block that we're getting to small group instruction in every single instructional block, in addition to our intervention hour during the day as well. We also took a focus on professional development. If we're going to add new tools to our toolkit, then we have to make sure that we are supporting teachers to understand how to use those tools and following up with those tools. Something we're getting feedback from our teachers, one of the biggest things that we're getting feedback from our teachers is we were able to have practice clinic in-service days. We used our focus intervention funds in the second semester to provide a substitute for every core teacher, pull them out and spend a full day in what we called a practice clinic. And we really focused on that small group instruction. So in the morning, they were with our multi-classroom leaders, learning about small group instruction, practicing what that looked like together. During the middle of the day, they then went on a learning walk, and we identified teachers in the building who are already exemplars at small group learning. And then they came back in the afternoon, and it was a little uncomfortable, but they role played. And what does it look like to do that tomorrow in your classroom? And they also worked on a plan with the MCLs to do that and be able to go back the next day and take what they learned in that practice clinic. We have gotten such good feedback from that. We're hoping to schedule that quarterly next year using our Title I funds in the 23-24 school year. We also wanted to know what part of our toolkit some things happened during COVID that we would like to forget, but what are some things that we can't forget? How can we learn in this new area and add to our toolkit? And so one thing that's been super beneficial to us is really leaning into the virtual space. One of our biggest areas of need on this other side of COVID has been math, specifically 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade math, 4th grade being our highest area of need. We had an opportunity to partner with Teach for America and be part of their first pilot in the Ignite virtual tutoring. And so with partnering with Teach for America, they together are able to provide a 3-to-1 ratio real-time virtual tutoring. 30 of our 62 4th graders receive tutoring 3 days a week for 45 minutes during the school day in a 3-to-1 ratio. No transportation is needed. They are already at school. For me, this is a win-win for a number of reasons. It's during school. It's creating those small groups that we've been talking about with human capital that we don't have. We're able to partner with TFA for that. It's also a Teach for America recruitment tool. We're talking to these tutors about Eastern North Carolina and how great it is. And you're meeting scholars through the computer who you could teach. And then also because of this, because we're pulling 30 4th graders out to do virtual tutoring, that's freed up 2 teachers who now have a veteran teacher who 3 days a week for 45 minutes is pushing into a 3rd grade math classroom with a BT1 teacher. So now 3rd and 4th grade math students are getting impact because of this virtual tutoring. So then we're like, what else can we do with virtual tutoring? We now offer 8th grade breakout groups during 8th grade science for 3 hours a week with a former MMA science teacher who exceeded growth in all of her years with us. During COVID, her and her family moved back to Indiana. She did not pursue teaching, but she reached out and said, I miss teaching. And so because of the virtual space, we're able to get a highly successful science teacher in front of kids. And she provides a small group that we've been talking about. And then our physical 8th grade science teacher who is in person then also has a small group. So we're leaning into being creative with the tools that we learned and wanted to keep during COVID and add those to our toolkit. And so these are a couple of pictures of our Ignite students. So these are our 4th grade math students. We set them up in the cafeteria. We do have one of our teachers kind of oversee the lab space. But they are with a live tutor 3 days a week for 45 minutes. The last day of tutoring is this Thursday. The pilot was a full 10 weeks with us. And it's been exceptional. We hope we'll be able to continue this partnership with Teach for America, and we will continue to develop ideas just like this. We're able to do that with 8th grade science. We hope to do more next year. But this has been a huge tool for us and a little outside of the box with our toolkit. I'll leave you with all of the work we do. We root our school improvement team and our entire school family are rooted in our design anchors. We lead with love. We foster safety to succeed. We do hard things together. School is challenging and hard. And with everything we choose to do, we remember that each and every person matters, from the littlest to the oldest, to all roles and stakeholders. With that, I'll take any questions.
Questions or comments?
I
Yes, ma'am.
have a comment. I just want to say, I liked that your long-term minimum goal is 35 points, but I like that you've divided it up into increments so you can see. Sometimes we make unrealistic annual goals, and I think by seeing small moves, it makes everybody feel like next year we could do a little better, next year we can do a little better. So I think I like to see that you've got a long-term goal, but I like that you've broken it up into increments that I'm sure you hope you exceed that every year.
Yeah.
But that is something that I think everybody can grasp and think we can do that. And we can make more we can do better than that. But
Those?
First job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, friends. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Superintendent Dr. Bridges.
Mr. Chair.
Nice to be before you, Mr. Chair. I don't like that. Lauren Lamfron, principal at the Southwest Edgecombe High School, and excited to be here today to do a little humble bragging about the good work we're doing at Southwest and trying to make the community we serve very proud. To start off before you is our academic growth history. As you can see, where COVID came in, we did not test, but one of the most things that we are proud of as a school is just the academic trajectory we were able to make, even in COVID. I think there's very few schools that can say post-COVID, we're actually outperforming where we were pre-COVID. And so that's just the work of our school team pulling together as a school community and really doing good work for kids. And so with that, I turn this over to Miss Alyssa Stafford, who is our school improvement chair, because the heavy lifting is really done at our teacher level leadership team. And I'm just really appreciative that you can hear firsthand from Alyssa about the work we're doing at Southwest.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb. So, as part of our school improvement plan, Southwest Edgecombe decided we were going to seek to increase school-wide performance grade and meet expected growth. We were hoping to do this in a 10% increment. We seek to engage all students in healthy social emotional learning experiences in order to forge a stronger sense of community with their peers and teachers. We hope these efforts will reduce the number of times students are out of class due to referral or excessive absenteeism. Additionally, Southwest Edgecombe is busy building student agency through our continuous efforts of creating opportunities and experiences that reflect students' current and future interests. This past year, beginning with the last school year, Southwest Edgecombe High School also partnered with
with the Rural Opportunity Institute through their second cohort of the Resilient Leaders Initiative. And Ms. Hopper, a math teacher, and I piloted community circles at the start of every class period. I still continue to do those community circles. And as a part of a summative survey, one particular student argued that these community circles made her feel more like a person and less like a student, which is exactly what we wanted the kids to feel. So this year, we've done a lot of things, but our top 5 include repurposing teachers, moving teachers around, reassigning teachers to EOC classes as relates to EVOS data to ensure that teachers' influence matches the projected achievement level of each student. We invested in a new ELA curriculum with materials for every ELA student. We leveraged power tutorials to provide deeper interventions for students at risk of performing non-proficient on their EOCs. And like what I mentioned earlier with Ms. Hopper and I, we piloted trauma-informed practices and brought in professional experience to provide therapeutic services for our students. We expanded Power Club offerings to include more topics of interest, including the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Pep Squad, while also including educational opportunities that students need, such as credit recovery. And then lastly, we've been working very diligently in re-envisioning school, not just on the social and emotional level, but on the academic level, and what all we can provide our students. And so we've been working really closely with the Transcend organization, and our core team has been hard at work collaborating with these affiliated professionals to really redefine what school could look like in Southwest.
So we were expecting a lot of questions from you. So.
Pictures.
How may we serve you?
Questions or comments?
I was just gonna say the job fair that you had a couple of weeks ago was very successful. And students loved it. And drew a lot of community. And the trucks, what'd you call it, trucks?
We called it a touch-a-truck event.
Touch-a-truck.
So we had EMS, fire, rescue.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely.
Good evening, Mr. Board Chair, Ms. Vice Chair, and Superintendent Dr. Bridges and Board. I am Kelsey Ballard, the principal at West Edgecombe Middle School, and I'm excited to be here this evening with you all. This was a really hard job putting together just a couple of slides. When I sent it to Dr. Myrick initially, he said, you need about half these slides. I was like, how am I going to do this? This will be brief tonight, but I would invite you to come to West Edgecombe anytime to see the work that's taking place. So we started this school year, the video in the corner, I'm not going to play it for you, but it's Rita Pearson. You may have seen it before. It's I think about a 12-minute TED Talk that she does. The gist of her message is teach anyway. And it talks about excuses that we can come up with as educators and just as people in general. But the fact that our students deserve our best and that we, should do our best work each day because that's what matters. So you'll see our staff photo from Convocation this year. The front of our t-shirts, if you can read them, not too far away, says teach anyway. And so that really has just been our guiding motto this school year to say okay, let's not talk about the excuses. Let's teach anyway. And so as it pertains to the EOG tested subjects, ELA, math, and science, for ELA and math, our goal is for students to achieve at least 50% proficiency across the board. And then with 8th grade science, 93%, we have had much success with 8th grade science over the past several years. And so we're really proud of that. The bar is really high there for 8th grade science. There we go. What you have here are our school performance grades and some EVOS data for you. you see that our growth measure for last school year was 81 and 1/10. And so around, Mr. Holling could probably tell us exact, but around 85 is exceeded growth. And so not too far off. We're really proud that we met growth and we're currently aiming to exceed. You'll also see there, as far as our subgroups, all of our subgroups met growth. Again, some of them are closer to exceeding than others. And so we have done some work strategically targeting some of those subgroups that are lower than others, but still very proud that they're all met growth and of course pushing for exceed. So what our school improvement team did over the summer last year was we took the key indicators from IndaStar with our school improvement plan, and we selected 4 that we were going to prioritize for this school year. And so these are the 4 that I have listed on this slide, and then the slides moving forward. I enjoy a good picture. I think pictures tell a much better story than words, and so we've included some photos here. And I won't read this to you. I'll just hit the highlights for each one of these goals. This first goal that the school improvement team decided to focus on was around classroom management. And so we started the school year with no nonsense nurture training for our whole staff. We continued classroom management meetings each month, specifically with our beginning teachers, but not limiting it. If there was a veteran teacher that wanted or needed to come join those meetings, then they were certainly invited. As far as reinforcing those rules and procedures and then rewarding students, you'll see the first picture there at the bottom on the left is a student staff basketball game. We have a dress down day in the middle, and then a snack incentive there on the right. The second goal was about evidence-based instruction. And so really, I call it good teaching, right? That's what we need. We need good teaching in front of every kid every day. And so there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different resources that we have to do that. A lot of my friends previously tonight and in other board meetings have talked about those. One example you'll see here in the picture is that is a 3D printed plant cell in the picture within the picture. And then you'll see that the student there has been working through a worksheet. She even has a construction paper based plant cell. And then kind of the culmination of that particular unit, they then designed and 3D printed the plant cell. So really cool hands-on learning. That was in a 7th grade science class. Goal 3 is about looking at data and then providing professional development that is aligned to that data. And so we really work on that in a lot of different ways. I could spend more than 7 minutes just talking about this one. My favorite that we have implemented new this school year has been one-on-one PLCs with our teachers in tested subject areas. What we noticed, our instructional leadership team noticed that just like students, teachers often need customized support. And so we added to the calendar one-on-one planning sessions with our EOG tested subject area teachers, where we're able to really tailor their professional development needs to where they are specifically. And so we also have done a lot of work with our math teachers because that was one of our lowest areas. And so you'll see here a variety of photos of students and staff working together, just desiring to get better. We do a lot of co-teaching, a lot of collaborative planning, and then co-teaching together. And goal 4 is about regular communication with home. I know this is Dr. Wilson's favorite. and so we utilize like a weekly newsletter, remind communication, connect ed calls. We also do parent engagement and curriculum nights, and as well as like some students showcase work. And so I have a couple of photos. We also have tried to expand connect students and expand their horizons with local business and industries. And so on the left, you'll see some of our ladies. There was gentlemen that also went, but these 2 ladies were part of the trip that went to Cave Ilko in Rocky Mount. I'm in the middle, LS Cable here in Tarboro. And then over on the right was a trip, I believe that was Manufacturing Day at the Rocky Mount Event Center. And so constantly putting our students into the community, into business and industries, connecting them and trying to give them as many experiences as possible. That concludes that for me. Any questions?
Questions or comments?
Thank y'all very much. Thank you. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you. 6.3, maintenance update, Mr. Perkins.
Good evening, Board Chair, Madam Board Chair, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. I come tonight to give you the maintenance update. I'm gonna start with that in the station at Martin Millennium. We had to close that down, the auditorium, due to all the bats coming in the building. We had to call Precision Wildlife to come out and take care of the bats. We have to get on their schedule. But in the meantime, we have to close it down. This is what it's looking like.
Well, they are all over the historic district, so it's very understandable.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And at Bullock, the main split went out in the room. So we looked at another main split in room 303 and room 205. At Southwest Edgecombe, the children was replace spring break. That's what, so we had that put in this on the main building. And the fire alarm panel, will get their panel put in this Thursday. And Stocks will get their panel put in next week. Southwest elevator, they told me it was gonna be last week, but they called me back and told me that the parts did not come in, so we're still waiting on that.
Any questions for Mr. Perkins? Thank you, Mr. Perkins. 6.4, Special Olympics. Next slide.
I had something to add for Hill Front Board, to share. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. I'm not Ms. Sykes, but I'm standing in the field tonight since she could not be here. But for item for information, she just wanted to remind the board that the Special Olympics, the second annual Special Olympics, will be hosted at Tarboro High School on Friday, May the 5th of this year, with the rain date of May 12th. She appreciates all the work of her team, and of course our board chair and his wife for stepping in for our kids when needed. I think she ran into some potholes at the beginning, but they were able to work through that. And because of our partnership with the Tarboro Town and Parks and Recreation, we were able again to offer the Special Olympics for our kiddos on May 5th. Any questions?
Questions or comments? It begins at 9. And if there are those who would like to volunteer during that day, please let me know and we can sign you up. The state requires that we get a waiver for COVID, so I would need to get you those forms if you need to volunteer. I will have some at the gate that day, but if you want to get signed up earlier, we can give you an assignment.
And I would say let Ms. Sykes know as well, because I think she's purchasing T-shirts for all volunteers.
Questions, comments? Thank you, Dr. Betts. 6.5, field trip, Dr. Lee.
So we have a few field trips listed here. The first one is Southwest Edgecombe High School, going to Mount Olive College, grades 9th and 12th. It shows you the departure time and the return time for that field trip. And you see Stocks Elementary going to the aquarium in Pineville Shores, North Carolina, grades 3. You see the date, you see departure, and you see the return time. Questions or concerns?
Questions? All right, hearing none. We move on to the fundraiser.
6.6, you see fundraisers, there are 3 listed. Phillips Middle School, we're having a May ball. The purchase price for the ticket is $7 and $14 for couple. You see April 7th through the 30th, and it also gives a date of May 15th will be the ball date, and from 6 to 9 p.m. Then you see 2 others, Bullock Elementary, their Sunshine Committee fundraiser. They'll sell mother-son dance tickets. between April 17th and the 26th. The night of the dance is the 28th. It'll be from 6 to 8. And then they'll also sell photographs during the dance for $5 per picture. Second fundraiser at Bullock will be the PTO fundraiser to sell raffle tickets for $1 each, April 20th through May 3rd. And host the spring carnival on May 6th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have a couple other things that they're selling. They're listed, and then combo for food, and then for some candy and snow cones. So they are going all out here with that spring carnival. Any questions or concerns with the fundraisers?
All right. 8.1, consent items.
You see the consent items, and you'll see listed in your board book to read and review. These, North Edgecombe High School has an extended day. They will be leaving from here. They're going to Kings Dominion. They'll make 2 trips, 2 stops along the way. This is their senior class trip. The date is May 19th. They depart at 6 a.m. and they return at 11:30 p.m. So it's not overnight, but it is an extended day. Then you see Southwest Edgecombe High School will have an overnight. They'll do the YMCA Blue Ridge Assembly. They'll be going to the mountains. And it's for the events. We'll see dates listed there. And then you see the return date on the 16th of June.
Questions or comments?
No, I just see that one. Cooperation with Charter.
Yes,
And
and
Right.
That's true.
Okay.
8.2A is a fundraiser for MMA. The art department is doing a silent auction for bids on student artwork that will be held on May 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m.
I think all of the board members got an invitation from Ms. Credit for that. Okay, all right. We need one motion approval for all of the consent items as approved, as presented, rather.
Mr. Chairman, I'll put motion that we approve the consent item.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of the consent items as presented. You've heard that motion and second. Any further question or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by voting sign aye. Those opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. 8.1B.
Okay. If you take a peek in your board book, you will see the updated district organization chart. An opportunity to review that. I reviewed it. The only correction that I saw was under Assistant Superintendent for HR and Athletics. Ms. Charlene Pittman is now Dr. Charlene Pittman. That's a little add her name to there. She'd appreciate that. Didn't see any other corrections that needed to be made.
And comments or questions on the 8.1, the district organizational chart? Hearing none, do we hear a motion to approve with the correction of Dr. Pittman?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve our 2022, 2023 organizational chart with the addendum of Dr. Pittman.
Motion and second for the approval of 8.1B, the approval of the Edgecombe County District Organizational Chart Addendum. You've heard that motion. Second, and further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Congratulations to our Dr. Pittman. 8.2B.
8.2B, so there's an addendum to our Edgecombe County Board of Education meeting schedule for 22-23. So if you would take a moment to review 8.2B and ensure that you don't have any questions there.
Questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Mhm.
Monday, June the 5th, I believe we should strike and My reason for that is since we cannot meet on our regular meeting date because of training, then I would suggest that we would do it on the 19th or later, whatever. I did not understand what the special board meeting would be on the 28th. Could y'all explain that?
I can explain that. In the past, we have, when we couldn't do the regular June meeting, we merged the two together and did the regular business with the special meeting for those amendments.
Oh, okay.
To
So
close
so
the
what
year-
we're,
Close the year out financially, basically.
yeah, instead of having two meetings, we could do it all in one meeting.
But that's your pleasure.
Right. Oh, Dr. Bridges, what you think?
I don't have a preference. Would you explain what you are saying again related to these dates so everybody can get it?
Okay. What we're saying is that we cannot meet on our regular date because of training. And I was just saying, maybe we could meet after, not before. So I just suggested canceling the June 5th.
Okay.
And if anybody disagrees, we can have that discussion. Now,
Usually, so they need some different out of these dates.
yes. I'm thinking if we can get everything done at the 28th meeting, that we do everything at that one meeting rather than doing regular school board meeting on the 19th or 26th. Then we just do everything on the 28th. What y'all think?
Any comments or?
Fine with me.
It's fine with me. I just want to make sure there's enough time to get the superintendent's evaluation in. And if we need to vote on hiring people, I want to make sure,
Ms. Pittman, if you want to weigh in on that,
you know,
that does press us to the end, that's the last few days of the fiscal year.
And don't we have certain time?
June 1st. So the May meeting would have to take care of that. We would need I think we might need another one before.
We have a May personnel meeting, obviously, waiting to schedule.
We do have a
Okay,
personnel
so that should
meeting,
be-
okay.
Yeah,
We should do that.
that's fine. I was thinking that we could do that.
Any concern with the 28th, only having that? Dr. Pittman, any concern? I'm just thinking, because it's the last few days of the fiscal year.
Is that going to push us with something that we're gonna need to do? There's gonna be a lot packed into that meeting, an awful lot.
Well, and what I'll share, May 24th will take care of the deadline by way of general statute. But as principal, we're trying to solidify hours for the upcoming school year. June is oftentimes. Should be nice to have more than one, just so that they can get people in.
Right.
And people selected and they know they've been approved by the board. Because some people won't resign until they've been approved. So we may need to have two.
Right, what about the 19th and the 28th?
I'm okay with that.
Anybody?
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot to do in one meeting. I would recommend the 19th and the 28th.
Okay.
I just got off bus.
Anybody?
Yes,
All right,
sir. That's
okay,
fine.
do we hear a motion for the 19th and the 28th?
I make a motion that we, what am I making a motion to do? That we approve the changes to the June meetings, and in lieu, because of our meeting, our training in Carolina Beach. And we meet June 19th and June 28th.
Second the motion.
Motion and second for the approval of the regular board meeting schedule addendum, making those meetings on June 19th and June 28th. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposers, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Okay,
As Mr. Hayes is coming forward, Kelly Ann Mudd is still here. She is now Dr. Mudd as well.
congratulations, Councilman.
Greetings, Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bridges. Tonight I'm before you to request board approval for the purchase of 25 interactive displays from CDWG. These displays will be put into exceptional children classrooms, and the amount for that would be $96,193. These funds for the purchase will be ESSER 3 PRC 181. And these will promote in these exceptional children classrooms, promote engagement, collaboration, and learning opportunities for all our EC students. I have put on a chart before you the quotes received, and as you can see, CDWG was the lowest that we got for the displays.
Questions? Comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion for approval?
Board Chair, I make an approval for the purchase of 25 interactive displays for the exceptional children's classroom from CDW in the amount of $96,193 using ESSER 3 PRC 181.
Second motion.
Motion second for the approval of the purchase of 30 interactive displays as presented. You've heard that motion second. Any further questions or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. All right, 8.5B.
Good evening, Reverend Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Superintendent Dr. Bridges, board members. I come before you tonight for item for action to request approval for the purchase of 30 interactive displays from CDWG for Martin Millennium Academy classrooms in the amount of $117,710.70. MMA is requested to use their Title I funds, PRC 050, to purchase these as supplemental supports for the classroom, and per board policy, purchases in the amount of $90,000 or more require board approval. In your package, you will see the 3 quote comparison, as well as also find that CDW was the smallest of those quotes that were presented. Our recommendation is that you approve the purchase of 30 interactive displays from CDWG in an amount of $117,710.70 for MMA classrooms using Title I funds.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, do we hear a motion for approval?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the purchase of 30 interactive displays from CDWG in an amount of $117,710.70 for Martin Millennium Academy classrooms using Title I funds.
Motion and second for the approval of the 30 interactive displays, CDWG for Martin Millennium Academy at the price specified. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Thank you, Mrs. Peters. All right. And you have another. Absolutely.
Now I present to you approval for the sole source upper services from JW Construction to provide consultative work for leading our ESSER-related maintenance and capital projects in the amount of $9,000 provided by our ESSER 2 PRC 171 funds. The Edgecombe County Public Schools has utilized our funds to hire JW Construction as a consultant, and we currently had to addend the current contract to extend the term of the contract through June 30th, 2023, which now puts us over the $10,000 threshold for the fiscal year, which requires board approval for sole source. Our request for sole source comes from Mr. Williams' in-depth knowledge of our projects of ECPS schools and the ESSER mandated construction guidelines and the relationships developed with vendors.
to help support us to ensure that we're maintaining the requirements by ESSER for our maintenance projects and that we are completing those ESSER projects by the mandated timelines in correspondence with each of those PRCs.
Any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
JW Construction, who is that?
Sharon Williams, Mr. Williams.
Oh, that used to work here? Okay. We're just hiring him?
No, he's been working for us, like consulting, just like you remember the finance firms.
Oh,
Yes. That's what it is, like consulting work to continue our ESSER funds.
yes, ma'am.
He could do that in addition to his new job.
It's very helpful,
He's
so
been doing this for me.
Did we approve that?
we did.
What I said?
No, I think you made a motion.
I don't remember that.
I don't recall that, and that's just why I'm asking that question. And probably, could I ask, would I be permitted to ask something else I want to ask in closed session? I'm asking my attorney right now.
That's what the question is in closed session. I can tell you about it in closed session. Yeah.
Please don't stop me, because I got to ask one. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? And we do have a lot of projects in the hopper.
I know.
When we
I
approve that,
right.
that's what we asked him to help us with when he was leaving. We had, because of all of the projects that we did a special tap covered, right?
Well, I can't
Sure, go
answer
ahead.
that question now. I got to ask it in close. Because I got to call some names.
If it relates to a specific employee or former employee.
What did you say?
If it relates, if it's a specific question about a former employee or current employee, it's a closed session topic. I'm not sure if that's where you're headed.
I'm headed right dead there.
Okay, and that's a perfect.
So can we do this, can we move this after this closed session and bring it back? Is it a consensus of the board?
I make a motion that we move item 8.5.b to
When we come out of.
When we come out of closed.
Right, that'd be 12 point, actually, we can do it as 10.18.
Okay.
All right, is that okay? Is that all right with
That's
the board?
Yeah,
All right, okay, thank you.
thank you.
And we will do that 10.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, we'll get that taken care of. All right, okay, 8.6B.
I'll second that.
Can't make a motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
You made them.
Okay, 8.6B. Okay, so this is a request, and we have a little bit of a change, so in your board review should have an updated. Okay, yeah. So this one, having talked with you all, hearing from you all several times, you've asked that we not waive facility use fee. And so the recommendation is to not approve this request. It does go past the limit of the 6 hours. And you all have asked in the past, if it's not, if there's a fee, then we expect to charge, not to say they can't use the facility, but not to waive the fees. So I'll give you an opportunity to read that and see if you have any questions. And if not, then move to the next one.
My question, I guess, is we've waived fees in the past. And I know, we hit a certain point where we say we're going to waive them, and then something will come up and we'll say, well, we'll waive that.
I think it was at the board meeting before last that it was a consensus of the group not to waive any fees.
I thought it was if they were making a profit. I think
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem ever waiving a fee for a community use because their tax dollars support it. But if there's an organization making a profit, then that, I think that's what, isn't that what we?
We did.
it was.
If somebody
That's
was
what I-
charging something, right?
Charge a fee.
Isn't that correct?
I cannot remember. I just remember you all saying you didn't want to do it. It's over the 6 hours, whichever, I'm certainly fine either way, but I was trying to do what you all asked.
And we did say that if they're gonna make a profit, if they're charging, we will not waive any fees.
Would you,
They charge.
I mean, I don't think so. It's for, yeah.
See,
That would be a question I would like answered. You know, if it's a free Bible school, or free anything,
in reading the info sent, I did not see where they were charging anything.
Do you want me to ask that question or do you want to approve it pending?
let's approve it pending.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Then do we hear a motion then for the approval of 8.6B pending information received by the board? Is there a motion for that?
Based on what you said.
The approval of the that item for action pending the information received by the board.
Oh, yes, I second.
And that motion has been properly made and second for the approval of waiving the facility fees for Eagles Baptist Church using Carver School Gym and the dates provided there, pending information to be returned to the board as to if there are finances gained from that. Is that said? All right. You've heard that motion. Second, any further discussion or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by using the voting sign aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. All right, then we move then to 8.7.
Dr. Bridges, thank you for catching that for us and saying.
All right.
8.7B, so this is, you see it again in your board book. Ms. April Roach is requesting board approval to use Southwest Edgecombe High School baseball field and concession stands on May 5th from 10 to 9 p.m. to conduct a Southwest Edgecombe High School scholarship fundraiser. And of course, they're asking for waiver, but this is to benefit our students because it's a scholarship fundraiser.
Any questions or comments on that? My question would be, it says scholarship. Who is going to be in charge of this scholarship? Who gets the scholarship? I have some questions about both of those. And it doesn't say.
Can we do another pending? I mean, I'm okay with that.
Pending the information that we gather as to who would receive the scholarship, who is in charge of this scholarship program, and does it directly benefit our students? All right? Can we do a pending on those stipulations?
Mr. Chair.
Second
With
motion.
pending.
Motion and second for the approval of 8.7, the use of Southwest Edgecombe baseball field and concession stand, pending the information received back to the board in a satisfactory manner as to who's in charge of the scholarship, who will receive the scholarship, and how is it going to be distributed.
Right.
All right. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion or questions or unreadness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion is carried. All righty. Okay, Mr. Ellis, would you take us into closed session, please?
Yes, sir. I make a motion under the North Carolina Open Meetings Law, section 143-318, dot 11, A1, A3, and A6, to go into closed session to consider personnel matters, to consult with the attorney, to preserve attorney-client privileged information, and to prevent the disclosure of student records rendered confidential under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 1232G, and the disclosure of personnel records rendered confidential under General Statute 115C-319 through 321.
Motion second for us to go into closed session as presented. You've heard that motion second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Those like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. Let's take 5. Okay, screen. All right, so we're good. All right, number 10.1, personnel management as amended.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the personnel management as amended.
Second motion.
Motion and second for the approval of the personnel management as discussed in closed session as amended. You've heard that motion and second. Any further discussion on readiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have, okay, one dissenter, two dissenters, motion carried. At the record point that we have two dissenters, all right? Two noes, ain't no dissenter.
What, you said 2 no's?
Mhm.
Who said no?
Calhoun and Ellison. All right, okay, 10.212, extracurricular. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, go ahead. I make a motion, for our extracurriculum activity according to the addendum for spring sports. That we approve.
You've heard that, and that was amended to put interim in front of it, right? Will you do that on your motion?
As amended,
Okay.
to add
You've
in.
heard that motion, a second, and a further discussion on readiness. And those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. 10.2, closed session minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the March 13th, 2023 regular business closed session minutes.
Second motion.
Motion and second for the approval of the March 13, 2023 regular business closed session minutes. You've heard that motion and second. Any further questions or unreadiness? Hearing none, those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. All right, board correspondence.
So you're gonna do the.
We got to go back.
10.1, all right, it's, let's see.
I think next we move to 12.1 and then move the other 2 down.
Okay, 10, okay, all right, we can use that as 10.1.
Do it as, okay, we've got 10.2. We need to do that as 11.1. Correspondence is 12.1.
All right, okay, this will be 11.1. All right. And of course, we know that it was moved from India point, to 5.2, 10.11.1. Any further, do we hear a motion on that?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the service provided by JW Construction for consultant work for leading ESSER-related maintenance and capital project as a sole source in the amount of $9,000 used in ESSER 2 funds, PRC 171.
Okay, it has been motion and second. I think Johnson did it first. You've heard the motion and second for the approval of 11.1. Heard that motion and second. Any further discussion, questions, or unreadiness? Those in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. Opposers like sign. Ayes have it, and that motion carried. All right.
I have.
Have nothing. All right. All right.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Under 12. Just briefly, kind of explain to me, and I know you have done it before. My little brain is gone. I don't know where it is, but it's gone. When we absorbed the Rocky Mount schools, all of those teachers are Nash County employees. We start off with a clean slate, and we have to rehire for every one of those schools, correct? Correct. Okay. We don't inherit them.
We don't inherit them. We can
Good.
choose,
Okay.
right. So when we do we're gonna do school-based meetings,
Okay.
information sessions, then at the same time, we'll have a job fair at that particular school.
So does that give us, because we inherit those schools, how much do we get to see on the personnel records? Anything? Or would it be just like hiring someone from another?
So, Ms. Pittman, I don't know what we will see. from the personnel records. I think we could ask some questions. I think we could possibly get in nieces, but I don't know what that'll look like because at the end of the year, doesn't that kind of close?
It does. The teachers will have access to their evaluation data. Tricia, as far as their actual personnel records, because NASH is a separate entity from Edgecombe, that's not automatically transferable data, even if we were to offer them a contract and to hire them for Edgecombe. It's like if they're coming from any other organization, correct?
That's my understanding as well. I mean, like any other candidate, they would have to submit references, who we would call, and through that process, hopefully get any concerning information.
The student records we would get. Okay, but not the employees, okay?
But they're under contract with Natch County.
Right.
They don't, the adults don't transfer.
They don't transfer.
That's good.
Alright.
That's good.
I agree.
All right.
Thank you. I thought we had talked a little bit about that, but I just had